up was Key West.
Our original plan was to go to the Dry Tortugas next, but the day before we left, we heard that a group of migrants in small boats had come up to Dry Tortugas. Normally they go to the Keys somewhere, but somehow they ended up at the Dry Tortugas, and so the entire area was closed. So we had to change plans and headed for Key West.
So we left Marco Island. We left late in the day so that we could sail at night and turn off the engine so that our prop would avoid the crab pots. And it ended up being a beautiful, amazing sail. We got over 7 knots and we ended up getting there early in the morning, a little too early, so we kind of had to just go back and forth until the sun came up and we were able to get into the marina. Our friend Tim flew in from Texas and met us there, and we just had so much fun. The marina itself is just a cool little area with restaurants and shops like all around you. Just everything is literally right there. And there was a manatee there. I just saw him very briefly, and just fish, tarpon swimming right there. It was just a really beautiful area. And then we walked into town and we went to Margaritaville, and we had margaritas at Margaritaville, and that was a blast. That place was really nothing like I imagined. I imagined it being super touristy and crowded, and just, it really wasn't. It was a really quaint little bar, and we just really enjoyed it. It was very laid back and very cool. We walked around town, we saw the historic sites. We saw the Ernest Hemingway home from the outside. We didn't go through it. It was kind of late in the day, but anyway, we just really enjoyed the history of the town, the cool vibe of the town, just, you know, music playing and people just walking around and happy and fun and smiling. It was just a really neat town. We loved it.
Here's a couple of typical tourists.
Let's go.
How are you finding Key West so far?
We like it. It's pretty fun, right?
Okay,
Tim?
great.
Love Key West, right? So far, so good. So we heard that there were not a lot of beaches to go to around Key West, but our boat neighbor told us that there was a dog beach nearby. We were very excited about that. Rocky was tired of being cooped up on the boat because, you know, Florida doesn't like dogs. So we took him down to the dog beach, and it was gross. There was old seaweed just all over the place, and it smelled so bad. You know, we had walked down there with our bathing suits on and our chairs thinking we were going to have this great beach day. No. But there was another dog there. Rocky got to play with the other dog in the water, and we did let him play, but it was kind of a disappointment. So anyway, that was our beach experience in Key West.
Yeah, you hear a lot about Hemingway and associated with Key West. I guess he hung out there in the 30s or something, lived there for a little while. The house was just a house. We didn't take the tour, didn't think it was worth it, but it was cool to see it. But it seems like they play up Hemingway everywhere there. There was a little place where they had some kind of a rum that's somehow associated with Hemingway. We did stop and have a taste, but yeah, it seemed like Hemingway is all over the place there. And we wanted to go to the bar that he hung out at. Supposedly it's still there, right? Well, there's a place called Sloppy Joe's. Well, that's not the place he really hung out. There's another place called Captain Tony's. It used to be called Sloppy Joe's. It moved. So that was the story. Years later it moved. But the older one, Tony's, is where Hemingway hung out, and I think I heard that little stage there that Jimmy Buffett, before he was famous, played there. I heard Bob Dylan actually even played there. But Tony's was cool. There's a lot of history about it. As it turned out, years later, that bar, they raised the rent $1. So everybody got together, all the patrons, and all picked up their drinks, and all at the same time moved down the street to Sloppy Joe's, and that became the Sloppy Joe's. So that's the story. There was a tree growing inside the bar that they used to hang pirates from. Right there on the floor of the bar is a headstone, you know, like for a grave. Somebody named Elvira. I heard that there was a hurricane some time back, a lot of bodies washing up and went underneath these buildings and all that, and years later when they were remodeling, they found lots of bodies. So there's probably even some other ones buried under there. So a cool historic place. Captain Tony's. You got to go to Captain Tony's if you're in Key West.
So from Key West, we headed to Marathon. We had some friends there that we wanted to see that we had not seen in a long time, and that was wonderful. We had a great dinner. We got to see our good friends from Kemah. It was like a little Kemah family reunion, and it was just an absolute blast. And John and Angie, thank you so much for taking us to the grocery store. We really appreciate it. We were able to go and stock up, and it was great. And Robert, it was so good to see you, my boo. I love you so much. I wish we could have spent more time with you, but you know, we were trying to get on down the road. And the other wonderful, most wonderful thing of my life is I got to pet a manatee. It was very, very exciting.